So we see these kids in the car, we're freaking out thinking that we're gonna die, but we just sit behind this tree because we think they're gonna sit and camp in the bush, and then obviously they do. So Lucy starts shooting and she starts building, and then I'm just like, no, let's run away, leave them, otherwise we could die. So these kids start shooting at us and we're pushing them because we don't really think they're that good. And this kid comes out of nowhere, but I thought he ran away. And then we try killing him. I end up seeing kids here and I think it's just the one guy from before, so I end up start shooting at them. As you can see, I tagged in for quite a bit, so me and Lucy start pushing them as the zone's there anyway, and we had to rotate it in. Lucy cracks one of them here, so she pushes. Then I get shot from behind from another team. And he's in the floor, so I'm just like, you know what, head it down, there's two of us, there's no way we die, and we end up killing him, and we finish him with a point. We have to rotate in, so I'm saying to Lucy, we might as well push this kid together, as there's only one. Lucy ends up getting cracked, and I'm like, just stay there, I'll kill him, and I end up killing him. And I'll also get third party, but luckily I stayed alive. I start tunneling into zone, doing a very bad job, as I'm freaking out from the kids shooting us, but it's fine. I see this kid and I'm like, and this is like, oh, he's a solo, so we start pushing him. Then I see that he was a kid before, teammates that we killed, so we end up pushing him. This kid really wants to stay alive, so I just ended up dropping back down to Lucy, just in case I died. Now we have to rotate. I don't have many mats. This is where I run out of mats and I'm just like, you know what, Lucy, just run and we'll see how long we survive, basically. These kids didn't notice us at first, but we started building. This is where I end up dying and I'm just like to Lucy, just try and survive as long as possible, basically. This is Lucy's perspective after I die. She ends up trying to go for a kill here. And she gets the finish on someone, but she didn't realise these two were the last guys, but we're happy that we placed second. So for this game, the zone was... I end up getting an attack here. I see a kid there and I'm just like, hide behind the rock. I'm like to Lucy, let's just swim down here, get some fish, and we just kind of play this game low-key and see how well we do with placement. So we just end up getting a load of fish. So I see kids here and I'm just like to Lucy, let them go, otherwise we could die. As there was actually a lot of people around this area at this time, and then I see more kids. And I think those two skins were going to chase someone we just saw. So I was like, you know what, just leave them, even though we could third party and potentially get more kills. But I wanted to play this game more low-key to see how we do. So we end up just letting them swim off. And this kid's standing still, so I'm like, you know what, I might shoot at this guy. But I end up leaving it and just let them swim off. This is endgame now. We didn't have a lot of mats at all, so we're just trying to go to zone as much as we can without building. I end up getting lasered here, so I end up just putting minis on. I say to Lucy, let's stay in zone as we have floppers. She ends up getting a kill here. Then zone comes back to us, so we're both screaming saying, yes, we have zone, stay here. I still have no mats at this point. But I'm just putting on my shield. I see a guy there put a cone down. I'm thinking he's going to drop down. So I just end up running. I randomly find max brick and like 200 wood here. So I'm like, oh my days. I might actually be able to do something here. Maybe get some more placement points. So Lucy ends up dying here, and I'm just basically trying to go for placement as I have somewhat decent mats. At this point I don't have many mats, but I end up killing this guy and he had loads. At this point I'm just cranking for high ground to stay up here. Kids start shooting me down and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna die from full damage. End up hitting a bounce pad, but I don't end up dropping down because I think he's just gonna shoot you with his AR. So I end up staying on high ground, but then I fall and then he kills me and becomes second. Should have probably just dropped down on the bounce pad.